Good morning. Welcome to Morning Encouragement today. It is July 28th, 2020. And on this Tuesday morning, I've been reflecting on things past. I was thinking back about my childhood and some of the early days of my life. And I remembered the day of my salvation. And I rejoice in that day. And I've been thinking about how God has been with me every step of the way since then, just as He promised. And thinking about all that, I've then reflected on what's going on currently. I was informed again last night of another close friend, a dear friend, and his wife, who both are in ICU in the hospital near Charlotte with COVID-19. I know that in these days we all want to open everything back up and we all want to run around as though nothing is happening, but there's still a lot of folks being affected by COVID-19. And every time I hear word of a new one, a new case that I didn't know about, and it is someone that's close to me, then I immediately realize afresh and new the danger that's involved with just trying to live the way we always have and saying everything's going to be okay. Yes, I know that we're all going to die from something, and we will not die, I believe, until our day comes, until the Lord plans that time for us. We have an appointment with God. But even with all of that said, we still have a responsibility, especially as Christians, to live our lives according to God's Word and to bring honor and glory to Him through it. And in days when we are faced with a pandemic, we should be careful. And that's all I'm saying this morning is take time to be careful. Continue to do the things that you know will prevent the flu or a bad cold or coronavirus from making you very, very sick. Wash your hands regularly. Use good hygiene. Stay away from the large gatherings of people indoors. Wear a face mask if appropriate wherever you are, and take caution. That's an important thing to do. You know, I was thinking about when we first started these morning encouragements. The first one I have recorded is from April 3rd, 2020. Now that's over 3 months ago. We came into the office and sat down behind the desk, just like I'm sitting today, and wanted to encourage the members of our church and our friends on a day-to-day basis as we went through this pandemic. At that time, we didn't know what it was going to be like. We didn't know what to expect. We were somewhat intimidated by it and certainly frightened to some degree. And so I felt since we could not come together in the church that it would be an important thing for me as your pastor to come every day to you and try to keep you updated at that time as to the spread of COVID, how it was spreading, how many people it was affecting, and then to try to encourage you from God's Word as to what we should do. And I'm still trying to do those same things every day. Now for over 3 months we've been coming to you. But I remember that first program. Let me go back there for a second. April 3rd, 2020. I reminded you that God is with us all the time. I talked about Daniel in the lion's den and David facing Goliath, and how many times God, when His people were facing unknown danger and that which seemed to be certain to hurt them bad, God stepped in and helped them. And so we tried to encourage you with the fact that you can trust in God to take care of you through this pandemic, through these days of troubled unrest. You can trust God. If you're a Christian, He will not forsake His children. And then I talked in that same first video on April 3rd, 2020, about the Norma Zimmer story and how that Norma, that favorite singer on the Lawrence Welk Show for so many years, had started out as a young person singing, and how that on one particular day when she was not walking as close to the Lord as she should have been, she heard a message. She came in to sing for a church, and that preacher preached a message, and he used Psalm 46 as his text. And so I reminded you of what Psalm 46 says on that day. Especially I remind you of verse 10. Psalm 46 and verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. Our God promises that though the heathen rage and the kingdoms were moved, that when He uttered His voice, the earth melted. And the Lord of hosts is with us, even in these days. That was my encouragement from that first morning encouragement. I still want to use that verse to encourage you today. Be still and know that I am God. In other words, cease from your uncertainty. Cease from your murmuring against the dispensations or the times that God has sent our way. Cease from your laboring over what you can't control anyway, and use your energy to deeply reflect on God. Adam Clarke, in his commentary on this verse, said, don't let those who refuse to think of God drag you down or bring you down and destroy you. God has promised goodness to you who are raised up and exalted, who've been ceased from sin or forgiven of sin. And don't be sinning and rebelling against your God, he says. Let that disgrace you no more, that you may no more be brought unto distress and desolation. What he was saying was, hey, don't, when the heathen rage and things are going wrong, don't be frightened. Just turn your fright into faith and ask God to help you. He promises to do that. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth. Still a promise today from God. Still applicable today on July 28, 2020. So as Christians, let us look unto God. Let's remember that sometimes we have to be quieted within our spirit. We have to slow down and, again, look to Him. I was reminded by that old video from April 3rd that the problem was great. The problem is still among us, still with us. And we must continue to practice good hygiene, do the things that we're asked to do. But most of all, rather than fearing what's happening, let's trust in God. I trust that'll be an encouragement to you today. Certainly good to see you today, and I hope to see you here again tomorrow on this special video of Morning Encouragement. Have a good day.